chasing a road to glory, driven since I was a child.
If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, work day and night for it.
Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. 6:30, heading to the office. We've got to fill out quarterly review, have one-on-one coaching at 8, and I got a lunch for the chamber. Connection. Lunch connection, and let's keep rolling. Sherman's out. All right, made it down through traffic there, not too bad. Was able to do the podcast, focus in on aligning your career with what you want aspirationally. So it's not about, it's about adjusting what you really want to be doing with what you're actually doing. So for example, if you see that your career path, the further up that you get, the less people that interaction that you have, and that's going to be demotivating to you, then you might want to start having a look at doing something differently, because that's going to not bring out your best trait if you're really a people person, and the higher up that you get at your organization is more of an analytical role. And so it's being able to identify what that is. The other thing I think that a lot of times people forget about is that certain jobs pay certain incomes. And so you might not necessarily find yourself appreciating that kind of income. So you might want to change things and do something different. It reminded me of a buddy of mine that when he graduated from college was thinking of becoming a teacher. Unfortunately, the state that he lived in Utah, is one of the lower pay teacher salaries in the country. And so he knew that if, so he was married, and his wife, their plan was that they wanted to be able to have her stay at home full time when they started having a family. And so he ended up looking upon graduation at, he even saw like an hourly job that would actually pay better than what he was currently going to be doing as a teacher. And so he ended up completely shifting, and is in the tire business. Now he runs the entire plant of like 150 employees or 120. But again, that wasn't like his aspiration right out of it. His whole goal was to be able to align, I need an income that's going to be able to provide for my family, and that's really where he started from. And so I think when people start thinking about what they're currently doing and where they want to go, they need to find that alignment. When they don't, time to make some adjustments. Sherm's out. All right, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Good morning today. Getting some stuff done. Had quarterly reviews. Results aren't where they need to be. So got more work to do. Just because we put in the work doesn't mean sometimes the results come. So continue to stay consistent, having the faith, the utmost assurance that what I'm doing is going to lead to the results that I want. And so got to stay confident in that. It's one of those blind faith things that from a business development perspective, you put in the time, you put in the marketing, you put in the effort, you make the contacts, you make the phone calls, you invite, you ask. And so just kind of constantly seeing where things are continuing to go and flow from there. So this morning, one-on-one with Peter, talked about using a feeder list. Definitely going to be able to implement that with connections, especially if you use LinkedIn. It's basically the idea of people that you're connected with, putting a list of 6 to 8 people down that you want to be connected with from that individual, from that meeting. And so taking the time on a Friday afternoon to put that into the plan. Next is to be able to, next thing that we did was just reviewed, hey, how the previous day go, and then after that, talked with Matt about the managing director on kind of where things are, where my mind's at on just pushing things and making sure that we can continue to move the people along that we have in the system, in the pipeline, to be able to make sure that we have the success that we want. And let's keep rolling. Turns out. All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Just grab some lunch, head back to the office. So one of the things I want to talk about that I talked about on the podcast this morning was being able to move the career the way that you wanted it to. And so it doesn't mean that it won't be difficult. It'll still press you. It'll still pull you, even though I love what I do, right? And a lot of what I'm doing on a daily basis, probably 80% of what I'm doing, I absolutely love and enjoy. It's training, it's development, it's work. And this dude was like totally turned into our lane. Anyway, so I gave him the disapproving shake, yeah, the SMH. even though from a career perspective, you're fully utilizing your skill sets, it'll still be work. It'll still have some stress and anxiety to it, but it's going to be sorry, it's a little distracting when someone just cut me off. So it'll still press you, and it'll still pull you, and it'll still you might still be filled with a little bit of anxiety to get to where you want to go and what you want to accomplish. And there's nothing wrong with those kinds of feelings. It's how we leverage those emotions for our betterment. Just like the anxiety of, let's say you're at a job and you feel like inadequate, that you don't know enough, that stress of not knowing enough should hopefully propel you to learn whatever you can to make sure that you do know enough. Where sometimes people, they allow that stress to consume them to the point of inaction, and that's not the healthy reaction to that scenario. That each of us are going to feel inadequate and not where we want to be, and that's okay, so long as we put in the time and the effort that's required in order to get what we want and be where we want to be. Too often people find themselves accepting that that's the way that it is, and even saying the statement, well, that's just the way that it is. And that the problem with that is that's so not the truth. We need to be able to make sure that we're finding solutions to our life's problems and not allowing the problem to exist and yet not doing anything about it. Now that I'm heading back to the office, hour and a half, gonna pound the phones. Well, in this particular case, just gonna pound the emails. I got like 100 emails that I want to send out, and be able to invite people to interview, to come in and meet, and continue the process. So I'm feeling the pressure that the results aren't where they want to be. At the same time, I know the activity, I know the work that I'm putting in is going to lead to the results that I want. And so that's where I'm putting all of my eggs are in that basket. The focus, the attention is purely on what I know is going to lead to the results that I want. And that is keep having the contacts, the meetings, continue to stay the course, and continually stirring the milk. The cream will rise to the top, and that's exactly what I'm shooting for. Allowing the process of what I'm doing to rise to the top. That I know the different levers that I'm pulling are going to lead to the results that I want. And not second guessing myself to all of a sudden throw out the plans and then try to go after something that's just going to be short term and not long lasting. Sherm's out. Hey there, everybody. Happy Tuesday. When it comes to career progression, notice where you want to be. So even though you plotted and planned and even thought that that's where you wanted to be, the company, the role, you might find that you need to make an adjustment. You might need to find that you need to go to a different company. The leadership team no longer is there. There's not as much enjoyment. There isn't the same company culture that existed. And it's okay to be able to reassess and to reevaluate and to make those adjustments in our career. They say on average in the United States that someone will make about 7 to 12 different changes in their career. And I find that to be extremely true. We're not transient, right? A lot of you that know my story moved from where I was in Wisconsin down here to Houston to be closer to family. So it didn't really matter what organization I was with, doesn't matter the management team. I wanted to be closer to family, so that was truly a personal choice. So think about where you are and where you want to be. Are they aligned? Sherm's out.
Go.
Thanks everybody that stopped by our tent and table yesterday at Beach of Omaha at the Houston West Chamber Golf Outing. And so we wanted to be able to do this live so you could see what's happening, so that way nobody felt like they got slighted in any way. So Megan's holding it, I am not looking, and we're grabbing a random card. It is Jordan Zale, Creative Director at Seek Media.
Congratulations!
Woo!
is stopping me from going where I'm supposed to go? I don't know, it's like every single time, bitch, you running through my mind. I be locked and loaded, nobody safe around me.